What's up? I'm live. Let's get the camera situated. That's a little glary. That's a little glarified. Oh, just got out of the shower. We're a little bang bangy. How's everybody doing? Oh, Creator Studio, live streaming. Hey, what's up? Live control room. How's everybody doing? No, thank you. Venetia David. Hey, Zach Davis. Lost in the fog of war. Hello. First notification in a while. What am I drinking? A delicious vegan smoothie. I have unsweetened organic almond milk. That's my base. I have a half of a frozen organic banana, frozen organic blueberries, frozen organic power greens, which is like kale and spinach and a couple other green leaves that I freeze, put it in there. Spoon of unsweetened organic, you're hearing a theme, peanut butter, scoop of plant-based protein powder. David went, how did I eat vegan on the road? I didn't. I tried. There's some cheese. Costa Rica's not like a vegan. I was in Tamarindo, which is nicknamed Tamagringo, so there's a lot of gringos there. So there was definitely some cheese I ate. There's eggs, of course. I can't say I'm a strict vegan, no way. When I travel, I guess I call myself a pescatarian because I eat fish here and there because it's just hard to find protein. Plus my blood type needs fish, but it doesn't need any other types of meat. Shelby Hall, I just installed a new mailbox and it's over 100 degrees. Oh my God. Get inside, Shelby. Zach Davis, how hard was it to give up? You know, I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up, Chicago's a big like meat, steak, beef sandwich town. And some of that, big slabs of meat are gross to me. Deli meat was kind of hard. I like barbecuing, but I realized I like barbecue. But then I realized I just started getting I toyed with it leading up to become a vegetarian. Like I tried vegetarian products to see if I could do it. And I realized so much of barbecue really is not necessarily, I like, coleslaw and all the other sides with it. And I like barbecue sauce, which you can use with anything. And I also liked a barbecue is more of a social event. So, Oh, it's Father's Day? Wow, nice. Hello, Bluebell 51. Hello, Stephen Carl. Marcia Smith. James Vire. How are you? This tastes so good. I'm assuming everybody can see and hear me. Woo! I'll give you a quick little thing. Costa Rica was amazing. Real quick, Daniel Sellinger, Graham, thank you for posting the bomber video. Really appreciate it. Yeah, my pleasure. I made it a point of recording a bunch of videos before I went out of town, so you guys were still getting content, and I could also not feel guilty. Yeah, the bomber video was pretty key. Yeah, Costa Rica was amazing. I surfed every day. We did some boat trips, which was really cool. Costa Rica is an amazing country. It doesn't have a military, and it is very environmentally friendly. I've been to I've been to Mexico and Panama and Brazil, and of like Central and South American countries, many of them are sort of third world. Costa Rica has a pretty decent economy, but it is amazing how clean that country is. They have passed so much environmentally friendly legislation. because they've had a problem. It started to get kind of overdeveloped. All these mainly Americans came down and wanted to build big houses and resorts and all this crap, and they locked it out. They said no more. They've implemented stricter zoning laws. And it was amazing to see how clean that country was and how beautiful and how nice the people were. It was great. Yes, Hugh Edwards, I'll take some fresh salmon from Alaska. Bluebell 51, you're finally coming to Alabama the day after I moved to Nevada? What? You've been asking us to come. We just were in Nevada, Bluebell. Come on. You know how the chances of me coming back to Huntsville, Alabama are after this trip? You never know. So, yeah, Costa Rica was amazing. I've been surfing for 12 years, and I went with my buddy Walker, and we started surfing together 12 years ago, so it was really fun. I got crushed on a couple big waves, which is kind of scary, but also kind of fun. Water was warm. It's like 75, 80 degree water. Yeah, Bluebell, you'll be in Nevada. You'll be closer to LA. You can come to some of the Jimmy Dore shows. So, this week, June 20th through the 24th, Ron Placone and I, Progressive Comedy Tour. We're doing the Zanies in Nashville, June 20th. That's Wednesday. Thursday, we are doing Huntsville, Alabama, Stand Up Live. Friday, we are doing Asheville, North Carolina. That's the 22nd. Saturday, the 23rd, we are going to Louisville, Kentucky. And Sunday, the 24th, we are doing the Punchline in Atlanta, Georgia. So come to one of those shows and tell your friends. If you have friends or family that live in the area, go to grahamelwood.com for all the dates. Lawrence Taylor just got off Gordon Dimmick's channel. Don't know that I know Gordon. Thank you, Human. I appreciate doing this. I gotta say, I needed a break. I needed a vacation, and it was awesome. And I didn't really watch the news. I didn't do any work. I was barely on social media, and I didn't even bring my laptop, and it was like so great. I highly recommend just unplugging. And for me, it's like being in nature. It's in the ocean specifically, but if you're not a surfer or something, go outside, be in nature, hike, get out on the water in some capacity, kayak, boating, the water. There's something about the water, man, it just calms you down. Sydney Samsara, you're waiting for me to come to Seattle? I will be there. August 9th, I'm doing Political Vigilante live at this cool little theater in Seattle. August 11th, I'm doing stand-up comedy. Go to grahamelwood.com. Boom. And don't forget, guys, you can support the show by hitting the little dollar icon, and that's what's called a super chat, and it helps support the show. And then I will read whatever you want me to ask, whatever question. So this one's from Balthazar228. Thanks for supporting the show. What race will the Dems have to lose to even get a possibility of change? When are you coming to Denver, NYC? Check out Space Camp when you're in Alabama. I thought I learned scuba as fun, not survival. Ha. Well, first I'll go through these. Don't have any Denver, New York City shows right now, but a lot of people have been asking for Ron and I to go to Utah and San Francisco. And so if we went to Utah, there's also, we're talking about just like a Colorado swing where we could do like Boulder and Colorado Springs and Denver. So we're going to try to put that together. New York City, I was just there, but it takes some time to plan in New York City, so I got to figure that out. I was trying to see if I can check out Space Camp. It's going to be a lot of driving on this trip, so I'm not going to have a lot of time. We're going to get to town, do the show, and then probably have to drive the next day. But anyway, so your question about this are, what race will the Dems have to lose to even get a possibility of change? It's kind of the thing I was as we're starting to see a lot of these primaries play out, and there's primaries that go all the way through August, I believe. I think Washington's goes into August. So there's still like another month or so, maybe 6-8 weeks of primaries. And again, it's the kind of thing we sort of were talking about that I sort of predicted would happen. Is the DNC is backing a lot of corporate Democrats. They're just preying on the Trump's evil, get anyone in there. And I'm talking to some friends of mine who were like, oh, we just got to I was talking to a friend of mine recently. He was like, we just need to retake the House. And I said, we? What do you mean we? The Democrats? The Democratic Party? And I just kept listing off. He's like, Trump's scary. He's evil. I go, yeah, he's doing a lot of crazy, scary shit. There's no two ways about it. But, I mean, like what Trump's doing to these children and the DACA, it's awful. But now there's stories coming out. Obama did that. He separated people from their families, and no one went nuts about it just because he wasn't overtly racist about it. But he still did it. So the Democratic Party is not going to change. It's not going to happen. Can some progressives sneak in? Yeah. But not a lot of progressives won in California, but the one thing that was the most encouraging was Kenneth Mejia in the 34th Congressional District. And he won, or made it, because California's a top two. So it was a Democrat and him and a Republican all running. And Mejia came in second. And he got something like 7,000 votes, and the Republican got like 5,000 votes, which now, if he can pick up those Republican votes, which is what he should be doing. Now, he's going up against a big Democratic machine, but that's something where you guys could help out no matter where you live. You could donate to his campaign, you could phone bank, you could whatever. 34th District is pretty diverse district. It goes from like Koreatown through downtown LA up into Highland Park, and there's like a lot of Asians in that neighborhood and Latinos, and then it's a very diverse district. That covers a lot of ground. There's a lot of people in it. So that's something I would get behind, because Balthazar 228, the Dems aren't going to change. They're not going to change. So thanks for supporting the show. I mean, try to get behind them. Like Ocasio-Cortez, I think the New York primary is coming up here soon. She has a shot. So get behind the progressives, but if you expect the Democratic Party to like go through a big change and embrace progressives, they're never going to do it, because that would cut off all their money from the corporations. So they're not going to do it. It's just not going to happen. And they're going to die. It's going to crush their party. Their whole party is going to be crushed. They're not going to come back from this. So that's what I think. Thank you for supporting the show. Shelby Hall, thank you for supporting the show. All right, let's get into this. 10 cities for little immigrant kiddies. What the fuck? Yeah, this country, man, it is brutal for how we're treating people. And as I said, I found an article, and I'm going to do a video on it, about there was families being locked up and treated this, I don't know if this aggressively inhumane, but what Trump is doing and how he's doing it is not just, like, everyone's all up in arms, which is good. People are finally paying attention and should fight this as best they can. But like as I said, I've said this so many times. He deported 2 million people. He split up families. And this just shows you how ridiculous our culture is and our government, what it's done, this corporate war machine. Like, poor people from Mexico and Central American countries, they're the problem? No, they're not. When you ship away a bunch of jobs in NAFTA and you deregulate Glass-Steagall and you let corporations run everything, you give them $1.4 trillion in bailouts, which was the combined from Bush and Obama. You don't prosecute any of them. You put in Dodd-Frank, which is like a Band-Aid on a shotgun wound. This is what happens. Then you demonize the poor. They're coming here taking our jobs. No, they're not. What jobs are they taking? The shitty $10 an hour ones? I mean, this country could have plenty of really great jobs. Really great jobs for everybody. And Latinos would be doing the, the $10 an hour jobs. But that's all there's available now is minimum wage jobs. So the system has set this up. Not Mexicans are not making this worse. So, and this is how we treat, we become, our society is so vicious and soulless. Like this is like, lock them up. The hell with those kids. It's brutal. It's brutal and it's awful, and it doesn't make me happy to be of our government. So Shelby, thanks for supporting the show. And I hope your new mailbox is working great. Balthazar 228. They talk about the House like it's the only way to beat hair leader. If GOP gets 38 state legislators, they can make Congress amendments and ban everything that the Dems claim makes them different. Yeah, I know. That's the thing. It's just what they've done. Excuse me. Hold on. I went on a bike ride today because it was like cloudy and it's like mid 60s in the water. I couldn't go from 80-degree water and 85 degrees and humidity to this. I just couldn't do it. So I went for a bike ride. I know, life's hard. So I need a smoothie break. Yeah, this is a great point you bring up, Balthazar 228. We got to retake the House, and then they get their base and their constituents, and then they sell them all on this lesser of two evils. I'm not a fan of the Democratic Party, but hey, man, they're better than blah blah blah. Trump's evil, okay, but this is my problem. And they're doing this in the state of California. Here's what they just did. So the state assembly, right? Every state has a House and a Senate, just like on the federal level, right? So California State Assembly has been completely dominated with Democrats. When they had complete majorities, last summer, they could have passed single-payer health care for the state of California. And California Democrats, like Anthony Rendon, voted it down. Governor Jerry Brown, who's done some very good things, but is starting to become more corporate Dem, he's like, how are we going to pay for this? And the fifth largest economy in the world. So they lost some seats now. So they don't have a majority. So now what are the Democrats going to do? They're going to fight hard for single payer, knowing they're going to lose just to say, look, you guys want single payer, we're fighting for it. This is their fucked up thinking. They don't want majorities because if they have majorities, people are going to hold them accountable and say, wait a minute now. Like Obama had the House and the Senate. People go, oh yeah, but he didn't have a supermajority. I'm so sick of that fucking excuse. They had enough of a fucking majority when Obama was in office to pass some shit. They could have got every Democrat, and all we need is one or two Republicans to flip, and we would have gotten this. And they didn't. They didn't. And they don't do it. They don't fight for any of that shit because they take money too. Everyone's like, the Democrats are pussies. Maybe. They're just corporate assholes. They're just sellouts. And they don't have to appeal to a racist, stupid base. They have to appeal to just dummy neoliberals. So this is what they're doing. It's a great point you bring up, Balthazar 228. They want to lose just enough so that then they lose, so then they go, oh, now we can pretend to really fight for something, and we know we're going to lose because we don't have a majority, so we can then blame it all on the Republicans. When they have the majorities, they don't pass shit. They don't pass shit. Fuck the Democratic Party, man. Get behind Kenneth Mejia. For real. For real. Get a Green in there. Fuck the Democrats. I voted in this last primary for so many People's Campaign candidates. It was just unreal. There's very few Democrats I voted for. I just couldn't do it. And if they're in the judicial, like I didn't know, if I didn't know either candidate and I don't know their background, I didn't vote for them. I'm not going to do that. So thank you for supporting the show. Yeah, they won't change Shelby Hall, so we will have to drag their fat asses kicking and screening. Bluebell 51, Roquan has stepped on his dick. Yeah, man. I mean, he won against Ocasio-Cortez. Yes, I do believe you're right. The New York primary is June 26th. Michael Stiegel's here. Zach Davis, hey, I was wondering if you'd listened to the dollop on Standing Rock before Dave had to take it down from a threat of a lawsuit. No, I did not, and I haven't talked to Dave in a while, so I'd really like to know what the specifics of that are, because that's messed up, man. That's messed up. Don't forget, guys, you can support the show by hitting the Super Chat button, and I will answer questions like the one here from Lawrence Taylor. Switzerland admits they can sell arms to everybody now, and they treat ISIS. I want to keep fighting, but I am fighting the beast. Oh, that's an interesting point if I understand this correctly. I want to keep fighting, but I'm fighting the beast. Yeah, I know. It is. I understand it's hard because you feel like you're always fighting the beast. You're always like, it's too tough of a hill to climb. But to me, I have days. Yeah, I'm trying to be. I'm choosing to be less and less despondent because I'm just like, I'm going to do the right thing. So literally, when I die, I can meet whoever you meet when you die and go, hey man, I tried. I did the best thing. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to let apathy win. I'm not going to sell out. I'm going to just do the right thing. And if it costs me money, so be it. You know, if I got to live in my little 1-bedroom apartment by the beach for the rest of my life, then that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to fight for the right things, and I'm not going to acquiesce. I'm not going to, you know, there's the polar ice caps are melting faster than than they initially thought they would. So there's no time for me, at least, to like lesser of two evils. Nor is there time for me to let the machine, or the beast as you call it, Lawrence Taylor. I'm not going to let it get down. All right, this is the beast. This is the machine. Fine, man. I'll stare down a dragon. You know, this is how they want to. This is one of the. They want to help the human race end just to make a profit, and they're so stupid. They're so short-sighted. They just want to get to the next quarter's stock earnings or whatever. So their stock you know, I don't know. They're not, no one's thinking long-term anything. And they don't realize what they're doing, but I'm not going to be a part of it. I won't. I'm not going to be. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Hopefully I can keep working. And I'm going to just resist it at every turn. It's just that simple. You know, when I was talking to my buddy, he's like, we got to, I just said, I'm done. I'm not even going to argue. I'll just say, I'm done. I'm not going to back the Democrats anymore. I'm not going to acquiesce. I'm not going to do this horse trading. Well, if we just get back to how, I'm not done. I'm not doing it. Maybe the Democratic Party, maybe it's time to let go. Maybe the Democratic Party needs to just go under. Maybe America does. I don't know. I don't want America to go under because it could be pretty awful. But I mean, I kind of just feel like a parent, you know, who's got kids that keep fucking up. All right, well, you fucked up. Sorry, you know, you don't get to go to college. You got shitty grades because you fucked off in high school or whatever it is. You got kicked out of college because you fucked up. I don't know. Go get a job. You know, you can sit there and say climate change doesn't exist all you want because the oil companies have paid for you to swallow that propaganda. But the reality is, without breathable air and drinkable water, we're done. So if you don't want to do something about it and you want your grandchildren to be dead or starve to death or have to fucking kill people for drinkable water 20, 30 years from now, go for it. Great. Keep doing what you're doing. Grab a gun and go shoot Trump. Yoo-hoo, bang, bang. But I go to bed, I sleep pretty well every night. I don't feel bad for any of the candidates I voted for. Many of them did not win in the California primary. All the ballot measures I voted for won. Those are important. They just did a new study. There's They're getting more homeless people off the streets in Los Angeles, which is good. They're helping homeless people. I was in, more people are becoming homeless, which is, or on the verge of it, which talks about our economy. So there's sort of conflicting statements there. But to clarify, the homeless population of Los Angeles is decreasing because we're getting more people off the streets and getting them help and stuff like that. More people are on the verge of becoming homeless because the economy's shitty and it only benefits the 1%. I went to Costa Rica. I had a nice time. I didn't stay in some swanky resort. It was this little surf camp. I was in this little room. It was very reasonable. The majority of the money I spent was for they take you on a car, on a boat, and have a coach, and they video make your surfing better. But I went to a little, like, not an orphanage, but like this company, Sepia, and maybe I'll do a video on it, that helps like at-risk youth and single parents in Costa Rica, in Joauqin, Costa Rica. I wish I was a billionaire and I could come and fix the world, just write big checks and fix everybody's problems, but I can't do that. But I gave a little money to them. I helped out. I took some time out of my day and I went and did it. And that's all we can do. We can all do our little part and feel good about the part that you're doing. And don't beat yourself up for, oh, I should do more. Do what you can. And feel good about it. Thank you, Lawrence Taylor. Balthazar228, thank you for supporting the show. If only there was a database of progressives with their voting history and positions, any candidate that is unopposed should need 50% of constituency to serve. That's a good thing. The second part of it, any candidate that is unopposed should need 50% of constituency to serve. That's great. I mean, so we need so much voter election reform. Like, I'm a big proponent of open primaries, but open primaries, and the head of the open primaries will be the first to say this, is not like a silver bullet. Open primaries, it just is a step towards fixing the election reform. And that's one of the things. Like ranked choice, I like what you just said there. But that's a good point about a database of progressives with their voting history and positions. That's one thing I would do if I expand this channel is, I would have like a progressive database that just all the candidates, all the things that they voted for. I mean, Our Voice does a pretty decent job of sorry. Our Voice does a pretty decent job of talking of like you input what your beliefs are, then they give you a percentage of what your candidate is. But the database of progressives that you bring up, Balthazar228, is one thing I would love to do. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about sort of my long-term goals of what I want to do with this channel. By July, I'm updating it. I'm going to get a screen and it's going to be a little slicker. I'm spending some money on it and I've saved up the money to do it. We're ready to go, largely because of you guys supporting the show and all that other stuff. I've been paying a producer. But I want to expand this to make it a big channel. And obviously I want millions of subscribers and all that stuff. And I want to have that sort of progressive database. And I want to have like investigative reporting. And I want to do like Empire Files, but here in America. I love what Abby Martin does. And I'd love to interview her. And that's another reason I want to update the channel and just make a slicker, get a studio, make it better production value so that I can go after some bigger name people. Because it just seems more legitimate. Hold on, I think some blocks are coming. There we go. See how quick that is, gang? Hey, Jenny Lynn, what's up? Block this asshole. You got it, buddy. Sorry. Lawrence Taylor. Oh, it's after midnight. Good night, my friend. World Cup's been fun. Yeah, large-scale general strike. But okay. Back to what Balthazar 228 just supported the show again. My mail-in has only one option. Who's for M4 for governor? But he voted to extend Bush tax cuts, 5 unopposed candidates, and 2 positions with 2 choices. Yeah, unopposed candidates is brutal, but that's why I would. And I know some of you are like, man, I live in a state that's super red and there's no Green Party, or even so. Then form one. Open up a Democratic Social, like contact these, if you like align with the Green Party or the Democratic Socialists or the Libertarians even. Contact them and say, hey, I live in this little county, in this town, and this piece unopposed. Who can we run here? You know? A little thing like that. You have no idea how important it is to just oppose these people. And they're so used to just doing it. If you like get with one of these organizations that already has those 3 parties that I listed, have a little bit of national funding, they have a national infrastructure, and they might be able to say, yeah, here you go. So it's those are the things I would suggest. I know it's a lot of work, and maybe you're like, I got a full-time job and I'm married with kids and all this stuff. And I get all that. If you have a little time, put it into that. You know, run yourselves. Kenneth Mejia is not some lifelong politician. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they're not. Look at them. They're regular people who just went and they were inspired by Bernie Sanders and went, the hell with this. I'm going to do something about it. You know? So, I understand those frustrations, but I'm saying that's why I say this, and I will always say this, is the little things you're fighting for locally, that's where the change can happen. I know we all want a big progressive in the White House and progressive Congress and all this stuff, and that can happen, but it'll happen when you get a progressive school board. You run a progressive against somebody that voted for Bush's tax cuts or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, oh, wow. Do you think this guy thought Kenneth Mejia was going to come in second? He was hoping the Republican was going to beat Kenneth Mejia, because then he can just say, oh, the Republican, Trump, Trump, Trump. But now Kenneth Mejia can out-left this person and go, I'm actually a real progressive. This is a corporate Democrat. If I'm Kenneth Mejia, man, I'm going door to door between now and November and saying, hey, I'm running. This is my platform. All right. Sorry, hope that wasn't too loud. I'm still very hungry. Thank you for supporting the show. Balthazar 228. Boom. Hey! Sydney says, yeah. Michael Stiegel Jr. That's what I'm saying, you guys. And this is the thing. I see you talk about you're looking for volunteers. This is what I mean. Find one of these candidates that's still maybe running in their primary, or someone who made it to the general, and get behind them. You don't even have to you don't even have to live in that state. You could just do social media posts. You could do phone banking for them. They need volunteers, man. Elzar Sharir, grammar, you a libertarian? I call myself a green libertarian. Like, if you really want to, that's what I am. I kind of call myself a green libertarian, but I'm becoming more and more of a socialist. Marcella Stevenson, how us Kenneth Mejia not progressive? I don't know what that means. Jenny Lynn, he's a libertarian socialist that likes the environment and surfing. Wait, I'm a surfitarian. I'm a green social surfitarianist. Annabelle Corley, morning, Graham. Did Darian go surfing with you in Costa Rica? Hey guys, I was surfing in Costa Rica, but the waves, oh my god, they were so big, and like, they keep coming. It's not like, and there's not like a switch where you can just turn them off and the waves stop. So I was like, this is crazy. So like, I went to the pool and I ordered a Mai Tai, and I thought there was like a bow tie around the drink. I thought that's why they call them Mai Tais, but I guess they have a different name, or they don't have bow ties in Costa Rica. So, but Mai Tai blessings, you guys. Thoughts in Costa Rica's. There you go. Hashtag waves and blessings. Sandy bottom blessings. Thoughts and waves. Surfs and blessings, guys. I haven't done one of her videos in a while. I don't know I haven't talked to her, so I don't know if Chad's still around. I don't know what happened. Like Ryan came and Chad was a thing. I don't know. I can't keep up with her, quite honestly. How is Kenneth Mejia a progressive? Well, I'll tell you how he's a progressive. First of all, he's running as a green. So if you're running as a green, yeah, there it is, Mejia for Congress. I'm going to read you Kenneth Mejia's platform, and I'm going to get an interview with him. Because he's running as a Green Party candidate, okay? And yeah, fair economy for all, public education is a right, humane immigration reform, healthcare is a right, housing is a right, clean and green environment, ending homelessness. Not addressing it, ending it. That's what I'm talking about. Richest country in the history of the world. We can just end it. We could end it. End it. That's what he wants to do. Civil rights, electoral reform, criminal justice reform, and caring for vets. So I'm going to put this on here. Where we go here, YouTube. There. Read him over. See if he's progressive enough for you. And if he's not, don't go for it. But a Green has a shot at going to Congress and beating a corporate Democrat. You want to talk? Are you done with the DNC like I am? That's one way to get them done. Get their ass kicked. They just think we got California locked up. We're blue. California's a blue state. Couple little red districts, but all the big districts are blue. San Francisco, Los Angeles, we got it. All the big population centers, we got it. We don't have to run a real campaign. Now this asshole, this corporate Democrat that Mejia is going against, has to actually run a real campaign. Has to run a real campaign. He can't just say, "Oh, I'm a blue. Don't vote for the red. They're Trumpers." See what I'm saying? That's why I like the top two system. It's not perfect, but I like it. Jenny Lynn is a cutie to boot. Chad is so last year. Shelby Hall, I pay a lot in taxes. What exactly am I getting from my country? Bombs, oil subsidies, and bombs, I guess. Yeah. So, Jenny Lynn, do you live in Cincinnati? I can't remember. Can you come to the show in Louisville? Isn't that close? Stephen Carl, Kenneth is one of the most genuinely good human beings on the planet. Yeah. Jaina Kelton, did Mejia win because he ran as a green and not inside the corrupt Democratic Party. Yeah, I think so. Because what happened, the 34th is so Democrats got it locked up. They got it locked up. So it's one of those districts where the Republicans just run some stiff, right? And before the open primary system in California, if we didn't have open primaries in California, Kenneth Mejia wouldn't have run in the primary. He would then have to run in the general. So then you'd have the Democrat, the Republican, and the Green. Down the ballot, the Green, they're not a real contender. Now it's a Democrat versus a Green. So he ran as a Green. The Green Party's not going to, there's no such thing as a corporate Green candidate that I've ever heard of. The Green Party doesn't take corporate money. Yeah, that's what he did. And they were hoping that the Republican was going to come in second. So then, Democrat versus, that didn't happen. Marcella Stevenson, donate to Kenneth's campaign. Yeah. You guys think, wow, I don't live in California, but let's say your district, there's no fight that's happening and there's somebody's running unopposed, or there's some Republican or Democrat that's just never going to lose or whatever. Throw some money at Mejia, man. Kevin, what's up? Marshall Villager, Graham, I know you're motivated by compassion, and that's great because not everybody is like that. Could there ever be a time when the most compassionate action for the majority would be armed revolution? I would say no. Because armed revolution means killing. And there's no compassion in killing. Unless it's like euthanasia, like someone's suffering, they're in such pain. But armed revolution means, I don't think you understand. Armed revolution, we haven't ever had, none of us have been alive for one of these in this country. The last time there was one was in the 1860s. Came close in the 1960s, but when you start killing people and you start resorting to violence, then compassion is gone. And there's a quote, in violence we lose ourselves. So I just don't see it working. I just don't see that working. I've been angry. I've been mad. I've even thought, we got an armed revolution. But I'm telling you, you read Chris Hedges and he's seen it firsthand in Central America. He saw it in Bosnia. He saw it. And the people that are doing it, it starts out all noble and then there's bloodlust and power and killing and it's awful. So I do not ever see a time when compassionate action for the majority would be armed revolution. The only way that armed revolution is if there's no other choice. If the government just starts turning on people and shooting people and rolling tanks, and if that starts happening, then I don't know. Then there's no other options, I guess. But there's a lot of things we can do to avoid that. Stephen Carl, I should be inspired to be a better version of me by Kenneth's example, but instead I went up depressed and full of donuts. Well, that's funny. But I would say, first of all, sugar spikes your moods, makes you more susceptible to depression. And so I'd start eating healthy. It'll help with your moods. And do little things to make yourself... one of the reasons I eat healthy is because I didn't always used to, and then I like sugar, and then I'd have these sugar crashes, and I'd just get down or angry or whatever. It's just I can't put this in my body. And also, when I take my shirt off, I like looking in the mirror going, yeah, that's just me. So I look to people like Kenneth Mejia and I go, damn, look what he's doing. And it inspires me to try to do better and do more and do what I can. Now, I don't know if running for office is in the cards for me, but I've been an entertainer my whole life, so I can sit here and talk and do these things and do the Progressive Comedy Tour and go on Aggressive Progressive and Jimmy Dore and talk and make points and try to be funny about it to help the people help it land. So that's what I can do. We all need to find the little things that we can do in our daily lives to make ourselves. You got to start with yourself. I know it sounds like some stupid meme, like, well, love yourself first, but it's true. And I look at guys like him or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and I go, these are just regular people. They weren't like born into rich political families and just were groomed. You know, they didn't go to Harvard and were told you better run for office, you know, and you better marry some powerful person from another powerful family. These are just regular people who said, this ain't right. And that's an inspiration. And that motivates me, and I hope it motivates you. I have this chicken shawarma marinating for like 7 hours. Got to cook it up soon. The monetary money thing, MMT thing, that more people need to understand that. And I'm one of those people that need to understand that. And somebody reached out to me on Twitter, and I'm going to try to take them up on this. I want to learn more about it. I'm going to try to. Don't forget, guys, hit the super chat button to support the show. I think somebody just did it. Oh, there they are. Balthazar228, thank you. Gotta get Graham a Logitech C920. No wall static. I don't know what that is, but thank you. What is a Logitech? I'm going to copy and paste that because I don't know what that is. Oh, Logitech C920? Yeah. Perfect. Just get a Logitech C920. Oh, I see what that is. It's a better camera. Webcam for me. All right, I'll look into that. Now I'm getting a really good camera. I'm getting a whole new system. Don't worry about it. You want me as your life coach? Marshall Villinger, climate change, Holocaust, or World War III nuclear war seems the only other option if revolution doesn't. Look, man, I get that. Sydney Samsara brings a great point, which is armed revolution is how you end up with military rule. Che Guevara was this revolutionary, and then he just became a murderer. He was a button man for Cuba. And I understand that if it gets to the point where they just the power will not give up their power, and the climate is collapsing and we got to do something about it. Okay, but I'm telling you, I'm telling you, the violent armed revolution, man, it gets brutal. Yeah, you guys are bringing up Marxism, right? Jenny Lynn, a lot of Marxian academics have abandoned the revolutionary aspects. Marx was a revolutionary. Yeah, he was. You know how many people were murdered as a result of that? You know how many people communism has killed? You know how many people Stalin sent to the gulags? Do you know how many people? And he wasn't doing it for the revolution or to help the people. He got hungry, crazy with power. Okay? So, a lot of great Marxist theories, initially, they took down the Russian royalty and the oligarchs, and then look what happened. It got awful. Stable genius progressive. Most armed revolutions throughout history have not resulted in any positive changes. It ends up being one group of oppressive assholes that take over another because look over the method, violence. I know. That's the point. I'm telling you, man. I just brought this up. Marshall, we don't have to do the same bad things if we choose not to. We can learn from the mistake of the past revolutions. Up to us. Well, you're talking about armed revolution, which means killing people. Once you start killing people, how is it different? How is it different? You're going to kill people better? Do you see how crazy that's starting to sound? It's like, oh, our drones are, when we drone strike and kill poor people, we're doing it for justice and freedom in the American way, and we're stopping terrorism. Yeah. Daniel Selinger, light question. What music do you and Ron listen to together on the road? Well, he brought his, last time he brought his Sirius XM satellite thing with him, and we listened to this, mainly this, what's it called? Something like, something Garage, which is just plays all this kind of cool B-side music. Marshall Villager, was Harriet Tubman crazy for leading troops and holding guns? When did she lead troops and hold guns? Balthazar 228, thank you for supporting the show. To be fair, RCV wouldn't have changed my 2016 vote. It would have been Jill or DSA or Jill, but it could never hurt election process. Ranked choice voting. To be fair, ranked choice voting would have changed my 2016. It would have been Jill or DSA or Jill, but it could never hurt elected process. Yeah, I like ranked choice voting. Look, the election process in America is so screwed up. There's not one just fix this. There's a lot of things we need to do. We need to open up the primaries. We need to have ranked choice voting. We need to get the corporate money out of politics. We need the two parties to stop controlling the system. We need 4 people debating from 4 different parties or independents for the presidential election. This bullshit, they got to get 15% of the vote. Nope. 4 people. You know, that's how it should be. We need to move the elections to the weekends. We need to have easier voter registration. We need to have a bunch of things. But it's a good point you bring up, Balthazar 228, and I appreciate you supporting the show, man. Let's see what we got here. So Harriet Tubman led troops in the U.S. Civil War. Okay. So that was a group of states got together and said, we are seceding from the Union because we want to maintain slavery. If you're telling me that was not an armed revolution, if anything, the South was doing a revolution by seceding from the Union. And they wanted to uphold owning another human being. So the Union Army had to fight them to maintain, and it was the worst, bloodiest war this country has ever had. More Americans died in that than any war that we've ever had. I don't know if you're picking up the fact that I do not agree with you. You can keep writing these things, but I don't agree with you. And if you really want an armed war so bad, it's awful. Do some research. Guess what a civil war means? This is over. There's no super chats. There's no me talking about smoothies and surfing, and it's all over, man. Every day is a struggle for survival. It means you're not going to have electricity and running water if you're in a combat zone. I've been in war zones. They're awful. They're awful. And when war starts happening and people start killing people, look at ethnic cleansing that happened in Bosnia. They thought they didn't like Muslims so much that they raped Muslim girls to, that's what ethnic cleansing meant. Getting them pregnant. So that's what happens in a war. People become inhumane. And the Harriet Tubman Civil War analogy is not accurate to what you're talking about. If the United States invaded my home country, that is why my family moved here. I know this already. Do you think you'd be a pacifist if you weren't white? Oh, so you just can't understand things. As I said, if the government starts turning on us and attacking us, then we have no choice. What you're talking about, if there's no choice, if they just keep coming at me and they're shooting and killing my friends and arresting people and I have no, then that's the only thing I have to do, okay. But what you're talking about is starting an armed revolution. So you keep mixing all of these things together and now you're playing the race card. So I don't agree with you a fourth and fifth and sixth time. Yeah, Martin Luther King was a pacifist and was black. Stable, genius, progressive. The hot war is what they want. That is their battlefield to win on. Yeah. Do you really think you're going to win against the United States military? If they really want to turn on us citizens, we're not going to win. We need to resist peacefully. Walkouts, strikes, that's what we need to do. If you're so hot to start a war, go for it. See what happens. See what happens. Go throughout history. Look what's happened. Look what they've done. Look what they've done. Go through all of them. The Black Panthers, Ruby Ridge. Go through all of it. See how they were treated. Get back to me on how that works. Balthazar 228. Will you cover Cortez versus Crowley debate? It's such a good example of why we need primary debates. I ran a 10K because it was the only race DNC couldn't rig. The Cortez-Crowley debate is fantastic. It says, it shows that, it shows several things. It's why the corporate Democrats don't want to let real progressives into the debate. They would rather argue with another Republican because then they can just debate that same bullshit 3 or 4 issues that they kick back and forth. The Second Amendment, you know, abortion and a couple other things and blah, 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 blah. Because if they got to go against the real progressives, then they look at, then the Crowley, it shows you, because when you put a progressive against a corporate Democrat, then they're not the resistance. The corporate Democrat is not the resistance anymore. You see them as what they are, which is part of the machine, part of the problem. And why I agree too, why we need more debates. We need more voices. We need more people debating the issues and not just the two, because the two parties debating is bullshit. It's just Coke and Pepsi arguing. It's a Coke and Pepsi taste test, you know? All right, you want to have Coke and Pepsi taste test? Put some kombucha in there. You know what I'm saying? Really do that. Because if you go kombucha, I'll take that. That's me over Coke or Pepsi. You know, put a sparkling water. They can't do that. They got to have the 2 filthy sugar drinks. Thank you for supporting the show, Balthazar 228. Agent Dale Chomsky, when the government hits peaceful resistance with tear gas, etc., they're trying to provoke a response, which would give them carte blanche to escalate. That's their language, not ours. That's what they want. That's, again, why I'm just like, sorry. That's what they want, peaceful resistance, and they try to boom, boom, boom. You can't tell me there aren't some deep state agents inside Antifa. You can't tell me that. There's no way they don't have people like go start shit. Go start fights. That's what they want. So they can say, God, we had no choice. We had no choice. They got violent. The protesters started smashing stuff. We had to do something about it. They line up with their sticks and their riot gear and they come on and they want you to fight back. Yeah, Ocasio did destroy Crowley in that debate, which is great. Wizard John, peaceful economic resistance. Large-scale protests will incite opposition to incite and project violence. That's why I say it's more effective to stay in your home and give them no violent opportunity. Yeah. And one of the things you get to do is hit them where it hurts. Their wallets. All they understand is money and power. That's it. A national walkout. Stay home. Don't go to work. Nobody buys anything of their bullshit anymore. You know what I'm saying? That'll affect change. Look at the revolutions we've had that have been completely unarmed, cultural revolutions that have changed things. Look what's happened. Look what happened when peaceful people like Gandhi and Dr. King went for peace. They were still killed, but many more would have died had they been like, fight back, rah. Many more. Citizens Media TV, thank you for supporting the show. Love you, Graham. Thank you for listening to my Learn MMT rants. Teaching it is one of the most important things in my life. You are a voice that reaches so many. Citizens Media TV, hit me up. Either info at Graham Elwood or you can support me on Patreon and the Skype level. The $25 Skype level, we could have a conversation about it, and you can educate me, and we make it a video that people can watch. People can watch the video of you educating me about MMT, modern monetary theory. So those are some ways to go about it. I hope you're patient with me. I'm decent with math, but global economic theory, I'm going to try to be a good student. I'm going to try to do my best. But one of the things I do love about this show is people such as yourself bringing me new information and different ways of thinking and opening my eyes to stuff that I wasn't aware of. I've learned so much from doing this, and yeah. So, all right, $25 Patreon. So we can have that conversation, and it's help promotion for Citizens Media TV. And if your primary goal is to educate people on MMT, then we're going to have that conversation. We'll have it every month. Every month we'll have a new conversation about MMT and get me more educated about it, which will then educate more of the viewers of the show. Boom. See how it works? Did passivism protect Occupy Wall Street? Yeah, it just proves my point, which is see what they do. Peaceful thing, and they still came at them with violence. And if you think escalating violence is going to win, I'm telling you, go try it. Go try it. Go try it. See what happens. You'll be dead or in jail. Go try it. You're not gonna resist them and say I won. It ain't gonna happen. You have to resist other ways. They want you to be violent. They want you to push this. They want that. The best thing that ever happened to the state was when the Black Panthers said violence, because Black Panthers were helping people out. They were getting people jobs. They were providing rides in the neighborhood. And they pushed them to get violent. They pushed them to get violent. That's what they wanted. That's what they wanted. Good. But keep posting these things that I can refute. Balthazar 228. I'd say it's not brain surgery, but Ben Carson. Okay, man. One Fishy Girl, thank you for supporting the show. Is that a Jesus reference? Stable, genius, progressive. One government gets overthrown. The new one in place becomes corrupt inevitably and needs to be overthrown again. The same process occurs over and over. What a bore. Sydney Samsara, I think if you're surfing while doing the monetary video, it will heighten interest. You got it, man. Daniel Selinger, I'm not going to explain the difference between a civil war and a revolution, but no, those are two different things. Right on. Balthazar228, thank you for supporting the show, man. You're awesome. But Graham, if progressives get into generals, we can't afford Hillary Rodham Sitton's lists, and get a clue, Beck can't afford his neck surgery. Rising star Nancy Pelosi. So funny, Balthazar228. Thank you for supporting the show. You always post you always ask really good questions and then post this hilarious shit, which I love. Rising star Nancy Pelosi. Boy, she's a young up and comer, that Nancy Pelosi. A little upstart with their hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah, Ro Khanna's kind of been behind her. I'm a little, I can't get all on board with Ro Khanna, man. Thank you. Shelby Hall. I'm buying through thrift stores and other secondhand purchases, trying to reduce waste and not give my money to the corporations. Today I got a large refillable water and am now off plastic bottled water. I'm trying. That's great. And those little things, Shelby, might not seem like a lot, but I want you to start adding it up. The total money you're saving and not giving to them over a course of a year, the amount of plastic bottles you're not buying over the course of a year, you might think, oh, I'm just doing this one little thing. Start adding all these things up and you're going to see you, just one person, those two choices, the amount. Start stacking them up. Stack up the number of bottles of, plastic bottles you're not buying versus this. Hold this and then just think about it. Just do the general math. I used to buy this many, 52 weeks in a year. Come up with those numbers. And I'm telling you, you're going to go, that's the big difference I'm talking about. When I've talked about this before, like I read about the kid that said every time he goes to the beach, he picks up 3 pieces of trash. It's only 3 pieces of trash. It's not that much. Wait a minute. You go to the beach three days a week. That's 9 pieces of trash a week. 50 weeks a year. 450 pieces of trash that are now in the garbage that would have been in. You see what I'm saying when you start adding that up? You're doing great things. You're doing great things. Balthazar228. Someone accused me of being against on Funstein in California because I called her a rising young star. I had to explain I hate her because of her positions, votes. Yeah, some people miss sarcasm on the internet. I've done that before. I've posted some very sarcastic things and people go, yeah. Oh, being ageist. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Balthazar228. Someone accused you of being an ageist on Funstein in California because I called her rising young star. Oh, well, yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. So all the corporate Dems have is identity politics. So if you don't like Dianne Feinstein, you hate older women. Wait, what? No. Entrenched. If she was a white woman, a white man, rather, she's a white woman. If she was a white man, no one would have a problem calling him old and out of touch and, right? Doesn't know what the hell he's talking. I can say that. I'll say that all day about Mitch McConnell. He's an old white jackass who's out of touch. Does that mean I'm ageist? Bernie, I don't agree with what he's been doing lately, but I don't call him, he's not old and out of touch, in my opinion. So yeah, that's the card, that's the only card they can play. And then when you watch like neoliberals like, yay, Dianne Feinstein, like, who is it? Kathy Griffin, I think, was like, yeah, strong woman, still fighting the fight. It's like, oh God, she's such a corporate sellout. How can you say that? But that's all they can play because you can't defend Dianne Feinstein on policy. You can't. So you have to then, play the ageism card. That's all they know how to do. It's ridiculous. Balthazar 228. I went to Galapagos, found Mitch's family. Oh, now you're a chinist. Now you're a multiple chinist. Are you making fun of Mitch McConnell's? Are you chin shaming? Are you chin shaming Mitch McConnell? You spent $2 just to make me laugh. You're fantastic. Jenny Lynn, demeaning real issues of ageism, sexism, racism. That's all they have. Yeah. And then it gets you, see, then you're on your heels going, oh, I'm not an ageist. I don't hate women or whatever. Then we're not talking about the real thing, which is she's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. She takes all this corporate money. She is a centrist. She is not left at all. See how they do that? See how they do that? Annabelle Corley, Feinstein is a professional in marrying money. Yeah. Alazar Sharir, the best thing to do is just shut that down. Balthazar 228, thanks for supporting the show. More like penis neck shaming. Hashtag turtle lives in Senate. Yeah, Mitch McConnell's got a cock neck. I said it. A dingo ate me baby. Crowley was playing up identity politics against Ocasio. That's all he had. Of course. What can he say to her? She's a young Latino. I think she's even a single mom. Grew up in the Bronx. What? And look what she's fighting for. She's fighting for people in her district. She knows exactly what the people in her district need, what they're being deprived of, how they've been shunned by the Democrats. So that's all he can. And how can you go against a young Latino single mom? Like, what? It's so funny. They'll do it with anyone. They'll do it with anyone. You know? Chris Foster, does age count when you remember the undead? Derek Robert, Mitch is the only serving turtle in the Senate. Turtle. Jenny Land, turkey neck. Turtle Lives Matter. Hey, Marshall Villinger, keep posting. You want to go to war? Go for it, brother. Stephen Carl, Mitch is the longest serving turtle. Apparently Denny Hastert was a real snapper. Ha 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 ha. David went, but Crowley knows about meat and butter. That's so great. It's so funny. They're still stuck on this old business model. Like, we need a catchphrase. I'm a meat and potatoes. I'm fighting for Main Street. And they're saying these things, and it's like younger people or just people that have woken up or progressives are like, no way. Shut up. It doesn't work anymore. We need these actual things, not your fucking marketing slogan. Plantastic Life. Thank you for supporting the show, Dominic. It's not fair to turtles. Do you see anything positive about Black Panther history? Yeah, I already talked about it. You don't listen. If you don't know how to listen, then you can't participate in this. You're just going to hear little things and argue about little things, then you don't understand this. You're not listening. And I can't talk to morons that don't listen. So start listening. Start listening to everything that I'm saying, or leave this. right now. Sydney Samsara, why do you never see Mitch McConnell in a cardigan? He only wears turtlenecks. Oh, now we're just doing Mitch McConnell jokes. Fantastic. Stephen Carl, they only speak in platitudes because their policies are identical to the GOP co-workers. Citizens Media TV, thanks. Give me an hour. Sorry, but the Patreon 10 to 15 minute length ain't going to do it for this. The initial mind benders take time because how miseducated we have been. You'll be even angry when you learn, MMT. Change the world. Important. It's worth the time. All right, man. Fair enough, dude. Or lady. I don't know. Your Citizens Media TV is non-gender specific. All right. Dude, bro, babe, whatever. You got it. We'll talk for an hour. I might break it up into a 2-part video, but we'll talk for an hour. I'll email you this week through Patreon, and we'll set up a time, and we'll talk for an hour. Sounds good? I'm down, dude. I call everyone dude. So right on, Citizens Media TV. Check out Citizens Media TV, folks. See what they have to say. I love hearing new independent voices. Balthazar 228. Their catchphrases don't even work. They already have the best one. Green New Deal or I'm with her instead of she's for with us. Hashtag Dowmed Party. Yeah. Green New Deal. That's the Green Party's. And it's a good one. Thanks, Balthazar 228. Marcia Smith. How you doing, Marcia? Some love for you, Graham. Modern monetary theory is important and not that hard to understand. Well, good. I hope so. Otherwise, it's going to be a very clunky video of me going, wait, what does that mean again? Wait, so everything's got to be broken down into some sort of like, so if I buy a vegan smoothie for $9, you're telling me it's only worth 10 cents? Is that what the whole is? Everything's got to be oversimplified. Let's say there's 4 waves in the water and you surf 2 of them. That means you've only surfed 50% of the waves? Actually, no. Let's say those waves were underwritten by blah, 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 blah. Citizens Media TV, dude, barely. All right. Snork Y2K. I'll post a link for the Alex Jones show for those who are pro-armed revolution. Marcia Smith, you do have to let go of some old, outmoded ideas. I don't think he... So taxes don't equal spending? Oh, man, we're not getting into it now. Marcella Stevenson, thanks for watching. David Wynn, I loved how Crowley kept insisting he was a progressive too, which is of course absurd. I guess he's trying to make the word meaningless. Well, that's the thing. So they're all just the corporate Democrats are just like, I'm a progressive. They're just wearing it like a bumper sticker. You know what I mean? It's like, I've said this before. It's like somebody that puts a, what are those stickers you see that are like, oh, coexist, right? It says coexist, and it's all these different symbols of all these different whatever. And then they flip you off in traffic. Like, that's to me the Democratic Party. It's all just bumper stick. It's all just window dressing, right? Like I said, they're Goldman Sachs with a rainbow flag. I'm a progressive too. Like Nancy Pelosi's progressive. Oh, God. Balthazar 228. Thoughts on job quality index over U1, the most commonly reported unemployment. U6 is the broadest unemployment number and still insufficient. The only main problem is that you have to quantify benefits. Man, the job quality index, it's another bullshit thing. It's like the stock market. When they use the stock market to tell us how the economy is, it has nothing to do with the stock market. 85% of all stocks are owned by 1% of the population. The job quality index, you know, these are just bullshit numbers for them to talk about on fucking CNBC. You know, and to trick Americans into thinking, well, it's doing all right. Hey, unemployment's low. And it's really, I don't really trust or even pay much attention to any of these things, quite honestly, Balthazar 228. You just posted Nancy Pelosi is progressive. 100% of her donors agree. You mean her corporate donors? Yeah. But yeah, the Balthazar 228, I really just don't pay much attention to those because they're not accurate by design. They're there to just manipulate us, to put out on the corporate media for them to go. It's more just their bullshit news cycle. Like, whoa, new job index numbers are saying that things are on the rise or unemployment's low or whatever. And they just manipulate it up and down based on whatever sort of trend or thing they're trying to push the masses into, or keep us fighting, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't pay much attention to it. I mean, I pay more attention to those surveys that are done by or polls or studies that are done by outside organizations that say the things that we've talked about on this show, which is 60% of the population doesn't have $1,000 in savings. And yeah, I just don't, I can't, yeah, it's just, it's more their bullshit stats and numbers that they feed us to put that into the lexicon. Like when in the 2016 primary, single payer is pie in the sky. That was a marketing. They put that out there. They just put that out there and they get these fake pundits on TV and they put it on social media. And so then it just becomes, and people that, were like I said, smart friends and family members of mine that I think they're good, decent people are like, they'd say, single payer healthcare is pie in the sky. They would say that, pie in the sky. The jobs index number says that this is blah, 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 blah. Really? That's why we have low voter turn. The reason we have low voter turnout is multiple reasons. It's on a Tuesday and people have all these jobs. Unemployment's low. Yeah, because everyone has to drive for Uber or Lyft and they got to do 2 or 3 other jobs just to stay afloat. So that's my opinion on that. But thanks for supporting the show. Check out Citizens Media TV. David Wint, thanks for supporting the show, my friend. Keep making it great. An article last week showed the housing bubble may burst due to big banks working through shady lenders. They're lending to people and house payments are over 50% of their monthly income. Not sustainable. Oh, God. Yeah, it's not surprising at all. I mean, surprising, super easing. That's a great point. The bubble's going to burst, and that's why like the job index numbers and they keep playing with those, so it doesn't matter when the reality is what you talk about here is the banks are doing all this shady stuff. They're giving loans to people that can't afford them. The same thing is happening with car loans, by the way. People making 25, 30 grand a year are buying a $30,000 car. Oh, and the lease payments or whatever, when the economy tanks and everyone can't, what's going to happen? They're going to default on all these home loans, default on all these car loans. It's going to happen. It's going to be brutal. Balthazar 228. It doesn't exist yet. I was suggesting it as a better... Oh, okay, Balthazar. Okay, cool. Now I understand what you're saying. It doesn't exist yet. I was suggesting it as a better measure of underemployment and unemployment, a kind of how is economy for workers measure. That is an awesome idea and a great point. And that's something that, again, if my long-term goal is to build this channel up and I would like it to be sort of like have that progressive like website and then have the money to fund real studies and real measures of things like this, like you were talking about. And really show what the real numbers behind underemployment and let the work, talk about the working poor. That's a great idea. So yeah, that actually, the current system, yeah, like I said, I don't buy it, but I would absolutely get behind something like this. The thing is just, you got to keep it independent. You got to keep the funding from it independent, how the studies are done, who's involved in them. That's the problem, is because they can just start weaseling in. They'll buy, that's what they do. They get some people involved in there that used to work for the blah, 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 CIA or whatever, or this corporation starts funding it, and then there you go. So I support it, provided it's done independently and correctly. That's a great point you bring up. Citizens Media TV, the ultimate mind-bending MMT sentences that will make sense when we're done. Federal taxes do not pay for federal spending. Taxes and borrowing are very important, but do not pay for anything. Okay. 2, it is a travesty that the U.S. chooses military and tax breaks for millionaires instead of Medicare for all and a living wage. All right. 3, it is an even bigger travesty that Americans have been tricked into thinking we have to choose. The truth is we can have it all, at least temporarily, and all at the same time. All right. No more from you today. All right. Gold Star. Okay, this is boring. All right. Here, what we'll do then. We'll put you in a timeout. There you go. You can have as much fun as you'd like there. Third party, Pat Cook, third party or national social media campaign calling for open and free elections, barring DNC and RNC participation. Yeah. Sydney Zamar, there are no boring places, only boring people. That's a great idea. And I think too, like, the reason why I do have some hope is how things can sort of change overnight. Now we look to the marketplace. I look at the taxi cab industry, had pretty much a complete monopoly, and then Uber came along, and then Lyft came along. And not that those two situations are perfect, and obviously Uber has done some awful things, but both Uber and Lyft, and Chris Hedges talked about this on, he did an article about the gig economy a couple months ago on TruthDig. But even both of them, both those companies and their CEOs have billions of dollars in profit, and they have the money to give their employees full health benefits, which could be easy to do. You say, look, you drive X number of hours a week, you get full health benefits. They could pay for it. They'd still have plenty of money. It's, what the hell was I talking about? So why do I bring up, because they say that's how we completely revolutionize things. Netflix completely revolutionized things. I think there's a solution like that, a technology-based solution for our election system or participation. And it's tricky because like Facebook became this thing, and now it's just it's an arm of the deep state. So how do you create a big thing like that, like you talk about, Pat Cook, that doesn't get infiltrated by the corporate machine? It's a great question, and I'd love to see it happen. Jenny Lynn, you can't ask corrupt people to change the law. It directly lines their pockets. Yeah, that's why you got to circumvent them. Michael Stiegel Jr., deregulation started in the 60s, if my information is correct. Yes, the most heavily regulated era was like the 50s, the golden era, right? Everyone, woo, it was so great. It was very regulated. It was a highly taxed era. No, I did not. I did not portray the Panthers as failures. I'm saying when they went violent, that's when it gave the deep state, the corporate state, the military state, the government, those in power, whatever you want, gave them an excuse to demonize them. Still not listening. Guess what? Getting annoyed. Snork White 2K, I must really thank the super chatters. I have 149 to make it to July 1st. I'm putting all my cash into Water Project. Thanks. When you step up for Graham, you step up for us too, Balthazar. Oh, Snork White 2K, that's really cool. Yeah, Balthazar 228 and everybody that supported the show. I really appreciate it. And don't worry about it, man. I understand any of you guys are having money trouble or money's tight. Do not feel bad. Do not feel bad. I always say this. There's so many ways to support the show. There's so many ways to support the show that don't cost money. Obviously, I need money to support it. And if you're just not in a position to, man, you share the videos and the likes and the subscribes. That stuff really counts. That stuff really helps. More views, all that stuff. Sharing it on your social media, all that stuff helps. So don't feel bad. I totally get it. I've been there recently where money was tight. And yeah, and I couldn't afford, like $10 was a lot of money to me or whatever. I've been there. I get it. Don't worry about it. Support the show however you can. Kind of like herd immunity. We herd support. Daniel Sillinger. All I'm saying is if you're going to revolution, do it peacefully. Yep. I said that 500 different ways with 500 different goddamn examples, and that fuckstick wouldn't shut his yap hole. Time out. Suck it. I'll cut you some slack. Just because we don't agree, I'll cut you slack. I'm not going to just automatically block someone unless they're like, boogers, fag farts, or whatever. We don't have to agree on everything, but if you're going to just keep, like an annoying fuckstick, like a heckler that won't shut the fuck up, I'll fucking get you kicked out of the club. It's my show. We don't have to agree, but if you're going to be a fuckstick, I'm going to send you packing. Got it? Fucksticks? There's the door. See that door right there? Go through it. You don't like what I'm saying? You don't want to agree with me? You don't want to listen? Fine. Leave. Once we've established that I don't agree with you, let it go. It ain't changing. It's like coming on here telling me constantly, Graham, you should eat meat. You should have a steak. There's a report. You don't like steaks? What do you hate, dairy farmers? Like, shut the fuck up. Hashtag fag farts. All right, Jenny Lynn, that's it. You fag farter. Balthazar, hashtag fag farts. You guys are great. Balthazar 228. Thoughts on Bernie in three-way 2020. If we assume 2016 levels, Bernie gets 22.5% from non-voters, 14 of Trump's 26%, or 3.5%. So he starts at 26% versus Trump's 23.1% and Clinton's 24%, even without HRC votes. Well, that is a great question, Balthazar 228. There we go. Get rid of that check wagon. Yeah, those are great numbers. If you go, this is the thing. I don't know what he's waiting for. He is like ducking to be on the Jimmy Dore show. Jimmy keeps wanting to ask him what the hell. Jimmy's losing faith in the guy. If he were to run as an independent, you're absolutely right. These numbers that you have, Balthazar, are right, spot on. Run as an independent. Look, the DNC is already lining up Joe Biden or Elizabeth Warren or Kamala Harris to run. They're already lining that up. It's going to be one of those three. If not all three of them are going to run in the primary. Joe Biden's going to be like, I'm back. We're back. The good guys are back or whatever. Like, ugh. But you're right. If they do this, Bernie should run. And he picks somebody like Nina Turner or Tulsi Gabbard as his running mate if they're willing to leave the party. Or Jill Stein. These numbers don't lie. It's a good point you bring up, Balthazar. It's an excellent point. So I would love for Bernie to run, especially with these numbers, because I think he could win. He would pull, like you say, he would pull all the progressives off of the Democrats. Any progressive would bail on whatever corporate shill they had in there. And enough of a percentage of the Trump, not the die-hard, hat-wearing, woo, Trumpers, but the people that voted for him as they thought he was the lesser of two evils, who are seeing, he's just helping out his corporate buddies they're disenfranchised by him, just like diehard Obama voters were disenfranchised by him and didn't vote for Hillary. I think you're right. I think you'd pull a lot of those people over. He'd have the majority. He could win. He could win. It's a good argument. It's good stats you got, Balthazar. Let it burn. Hey Graham, I love you having Stalin as your thing. Nice. I'm a broke-ass PhD student in Canada, first-time donor, long-time listener. Just wondering what your thoughts are on Marxism and Leninism, if you're familiar, and how much you've read. First of all, thank you for supporting the show, and I appreciate it, especially when you donate when money's tight and you're a PhD student. Good for you. And thank you for paying attention to the show for so long. We talked a little bit earlier about it. So it's been a while since I've read Marxism and Leninism. I studied that in high school and a little bit in college. And I love their theories. I love the things that they said. I love their workers' rights. As I've said, though, it got violent and it got ugly, and I don't support that. So, if there are, let it burn, some more current books on Marxism and Leninism that you suggest, please do. And this goes to another thing. Yes, one of you set up the Goodreads, the book club thing. I haven't had time to go over it to set it up. I need to be the administrator, but hopefully I can get that done this week now that I just came back from vacation. One of the things I'm in the process of setting up Let It Burn is a online book club that we can all throw in, not Leninism. Stalinism is not Marxism nor Leninism. Yeah, Stalinism is kind of a mean dude. But yeah, Let It Burn. So we're going to start this. So that's the whole point of it. We can all exchange. Oh, read this book, check this book out. I need to go and be an administrator and set some shit up, which I'll do eventually. But thanks for supporting the show, and I hope that answered your question. Balthazar 228. Pretty sure he's only with Dems for debate access. They'll jack up percentage up to be in. Private town hall online would have more views than debates. Oh, absolutely. You're talking about Bernie Sanders. Wizard John, DNC 2020 campaign slogan, 4 more years. Yeah, Balthazar 228, that's a great point. I'm really hoping that he's eventually going to just go, all right, you guys, I tried, you screwed me in 2016, I tried to stay with you, and I'm out, meaning then Bernie runs as an independent. That's what I want. Balthazar 228, if we fund NASA, pie can be in the sky. Aha! Anyone who is against bureaucracy and has power will have a short life. Harold Hedge, never voting for the lesser two evils. Good for you. All right. Well, thanks, Let It Burn. Read Kroptokin and by Kuknin. I know I mispronounced those. If not Bernie, what list of candidates today has charisma, clarity to run and win? Tulsi Gabbard. Nina for sure. Nina Turner. I don't know if she's like wants to run again. Maybe she's more in sort of like activism and organization. I don't know, but those are the two I think. Nina Turner and Tulsi Gabbard really have it. They really have it for me. David went, maybe we need to convince Jane Sanders first to get Bernie to run third party. Yeah. But those are my candidates. Guys, I got to get going, but you've been fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the show. Let it burn real quick. Jenny Lynn, I think it's a great shame that Stalin is smeared the way he is. I mean, he certainly made mistakes, but a lot of common charges against him are kind of ridiculous once you look into it. Okay, sure. I'm open to that, but he put a lot of people in the gulags, man. Like you know. I'm willing to open. Maybe I don't have all the information on him. I'm willing to be open to that. But yeah, I think he did some pretty awful. And I understand America is always going to go after anyone that's like not capitalist. I get that, but we also got to be fair. If Stalin did some awful shit and put a lot of people in gulags and tortured people and shit like that, we got to hold him accountable for that. Yes, we have been fed a lot of propaganda. Jaina, Kelton, see you, Graham. Have a great week, and thanks for talking with us. Sunblock and blessings. Balthazar 228. Nader got 2.7% of the vote. Not voting got 48.8% of the vote. Yeah, I don't agree with not voting. I understand where people come from. They feel so disenfranchised, or they're too busy, or it's not set up. It's hard for them to get to vote. I get that. Me personally, I think you should vote. As corrupt and as broken as the system is, if that 48% of the people all showed up to vote for Jill Stein, we might have a totally different country. Those are just numbers. Yes, I'll run as president. Yes, the propaganda against the communism is definitely still thriving. That's what Russiagate is all about, so that they don't have to take responsibility. For, their corrupt primary. Do I have a regular time for the stream? No. This week I'm going on the road with Ron Placone. So it might be Saturday or Sunday. It's hard for me to say at this point. I can't commit to a regular time with the stream just because sometimes I'm on the road or other stuff happens on the weekends. It's either Saturday or Sunday. In a perfect world, I could commit. It'll definitely be this day, this time, but it's usually late in the afternoon, early evening, depending on your time zone, Saturday or Sunday. But I always announce on all my social media. So my social media is at Graham Elwood. If you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and my Facebook fan page, I always post that morning. I'm going to do Super Chat live at this time, blah, blah, blah. But guys, thank you. I got to run. This has been fantastic and a great support of the show. We've learned a lot. Who gets blocked and why is one of the things we've learned. I wanted to thank Balthazar228 for donating to the show. Shelby Hall, right on. Power to your new mailbox. Balthazar228 again. Lawrence Taylor, good to see you back again. Balthazar228, 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 Balthazar228 again. Balthazar228 again. Balthazar228 again. Balthazar228 again. And Balthazar228 again. It sounds like I have Tourette's. I have Balthazar228 Tourette's. I have Balthazar2 Tourette's. 8. That was wrong. Citizens Media TV, right on. I look forward to the hour-long MMT conversation with me. I hope you're patient. That's going to be a cool conversation. Balthazar228, right on. One Fishy Girl, thank you so much for supporting the show. Balthazar228, 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 Balthazar228. Now it sounds like I'm in like a science fiction movie and I'm calling. That's like, Balthazar228, where are you? Plantastic Life, right on. Citizens Media TV, Boom. Big support for the show. You're awesome. But you're supporting me with money. I thought you hippie MMT people didn't believe in it. Isn't that what you're going to teach me? That we all should just be paying for things with rainbows? I don't get it. Balthazar228 again. Thank you. Marcia Smith, you're awesome. Balthazar228, fantastic. Balthazar228 again. David Went, always great to see you on the show. Balthazar228. Balthazar228 again. Let it burn. All right. Dos Vidania, Balthazar228. And Balthazar228, 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 and Balthazar228. I think that's the most times I've ever said that. You guys are fantastic. Sydney Samsara, sorry, couldn't afford to contribute this time, but I'll iron a donut and get it in the mail when you can save up. You can send for a stamp. Sydney, you know what you should do? Just come to the show I'm doing, because I think you live in Seattle. Come to the show I'm doing August 9th and 11th in Seattle. Go to gramelwood.com, you guys. Please, if you are anywhere near any of the shows this week, June 20th through the 24th, Nashville, Huntsville, Asheville, Louisville, Atlanta, gramelwood.com. So come to one of the shows. And then July 15th, I will be on the panel at the Jimmy Dore show in Chicago at Daniel Hall. That show is about to sell out if it hasn't already. It's like a 600-seat theater, and they've already sold, like, I think almost 500 tickets. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Thank you for coming out here. I love these discussions. And when we get to the agree to disagree, you got to stop. You guys are fantastic. Yeah, it was interesting up to a point, Mr. Dead in My Pocket. Appreciate it. I look forward to the MMT conversation with Citizens Media TV. You guys are funny. I'll play at the market while you're up here in Seattle. I'm not sure what that means. The fish market? Anyway, you guys are fantastic. And thank you just for letting me say Balthazar228 one more time. You can say your name once. I don't know. I just like saying it like I'm caught in a loop. But thank you guys so much. And yeah, look for the Patreon emails if you're at the